Okay, my name is Chelsea, and this is
Gabriel Quinones. Hi, everybody.
he's the owner of GQ Cuts. Okay, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. So, I would like to know, what is it like living in the city of La Puente?
So I live on the other side of City Hall, and I think it's great. I think I've only been back into the city for about 2.5 years, and I like it. I feel like it's starting to become a lot more of a community-based, small, like downtown. So I enjoy it.
Okay. What are the community strengths?
So we've been here for a little over 9 years, and for the past 4 years, I've noticed a lot of just people getting involved a lot more. Like so in the downtown area to City Hall. I think for us right now, the strength is being built up in like community efforts. So like farmers markets and just events and carnivals. A lot of people come and gather. We just celebrated like our 3rd of July event,
Oh, okay.
which brings thousands of people into our parks, which is crazy. I just walked like a 10-minute walk to the park, and it was just awesome to see everybody out.
It's just down the street. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
totally down the street.
Cool. And then I was wondering, what are any weaknesses that you find in the community?
Weaknesses. I think that one of the biggest weakness that I think I've seen is voting participation for city council members. I feel like there's always people wanting to want more and be a part of things, but when it comes to electing someone, especially the youth, we don't really get involved as much. But I think that's, I sidetracked and I couldn't even think of anything. But I think that would be my biggest issue with the city is I always try to promote, especially through the shop, like how we can all get involved. And it's just so crazy how not that many people take the time to vote. At least in our own city for like elected officials.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, even with our upcoming presidential election, it's kind of like
Yeah, we gotta get everybody to vote on a nation's perspective.
Yes. What do you think employment's like around La Puente nowadays?
You know what? I do notice that there's a lot more businesses opening up, small businesses, and then also even franchise companies and businesses on like bigger main streets. So I think that the employment is starting to build up a little bit more because we do, here, unfortunately, a lot of guys and girls that come in to see us, they're not working, and then we hear them that they're getting a job, and so it's kind of cool. We get everybody ready for their interview, and then it's just great news when they do get the job. But as of lately, the past few years, you'll see a lot of small businesses creating a lot of opportunity, and it's cool because it's a lot of homegrown people working inside like the stores in the downtown areas especially.
Okay, so it sounds like the residents are kind of really interconnected.
Yeah, it's starting to build itself up within, I think, which is kind of cool.
That's really good. Do you have a doctor, and if so, is it accessible to this community, or do you know any hospitals that are very accessible?
You know what?
to this
I think
area?
our doctors are. So Kaiser Permanente is where I go, and it's the next city over, which is Baldwin Park, and we're in La Puente. So I think it's accessible. I know there's a lot of local clinics in the downtown area, and then outside of the surrounding downtown area, but in the city of La Puente, that I think is accessible to a lot of people too, which is cool.
Okay, and then what do you think is one of the health problems you might see around this area?
So I noticed that there's a lot of gyms opening up.
Okay.
So I feel like it's kind of cool because it's, driving to work. I should say that all over again. So I noticed a lot of gyms opening up, and people driving to work, they'll see a Zumba going on or a CrossFit like team going at it, or there's like a boxing gym around the corner. So I feel like the community itself is just starting to develop a lot more of fitness awareness, which is cool. I thought that because in like a 4-block radius, I mean, I love my city, but it's all like tacos and hamburgers, right? So as much as we love that, we got to work that off. So I think like health is becoming a little bit more of an awareness, and it's kind of cool that it's a little bit more accessible in that retrospect.
Now that there's smaller gyms, it's not as intimidating as a large gym like for fitness. So that's always a positive. And then let's see. What's like the biggest form of communication that La Puente uses?
So I want to say the biggest form of communication is our local paper. It's called La Puente Spotlight. So that gets kind of spread throughout the community, because that has a lot of updates on what's going on. But you know, a lot of people don't take the time to like read the whole thing. They just kind of scan through it. I don't know if I'm just being biased, but I think a barbershop setting is always like the front just the front end of communication when there's a lot of like upcoming events going on. Like we're just always going to talk about it. So I mean, I don't know if that even answers your question.
No, actually, that question actually says, "What's the gossip center?" But I kind of wanted
well,
to rephrase
hopefully
that.
it's not the shop. You know, whatever happens in the shop usually kind of stays within the chair. But I mean, you get to know a lot of like, you know, what's going on in the community when you're just hanging out. And what's really cool is it's a safe space for communication. You know, people like, you know, joke around a lot and they throw, you know, jabs here and there. But at the end of the day, we all know we're joking around. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if this would be the main place, but probably, right, in a salon barbershop setting.
Yeah, I can see that. And then one more thing. What's one positive thing you can say about La Puente to outsiders that are curious about living here?
So I feel like La Puente has a lot of heritage that they're starting to really tap into. So, you know, I went to school in La Puente. I graduated from the high school, and then I moved out. I went to college, but I recently moved back in because, well, I had already opened up the business, but years later I was fortunate to have my own place. So I wanted to find a home in the city of La Puente that I can, you know, start like my own foundation when it came to my personal life. So for me, I think it's just because of where I was from, and I wanted to come back here. But from anybody else kind of driving through the city, you'll notice it's very charming, comfortable. There isn't a lot of like hype, but it's kind of cool that it's very like a home base. That's how I feel, comfortable for me.
Okay, and that was it. Thank you so much.
Cool, yeah, thank you for having me.